Thank you, John. Verdi Square is a small park on the Upper West Side of Manhattan, and though it is now vibrant and full of life, hasn't always been that way. Members of a community group called the Friends of Verdi Square rallied together to give the park a makeover and breathe new life into this once dreary place. Here with me to talk about that is the woman who's president of the Friends of Verdi Square, this group that made it all happen, Aleya Lehmann. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
First of all, let's just let everybody know where exactly is Verdi Square.
Verdi Square is on the Upper West Side. It's a bow tie park in between Broadway in Amsterdam and 72nd and 73rd.
When you come out of the subway?
Right at the subway.
Okay.
Exactly.
So a lot of traffic is going on there.
Yeah.
What was the problem? I mean, when was it like, we can't take this anymore?
Well, the subway was expanded in 2003. New station house built and a plaza added, and new gardens added as well, in addition to the original sort of bow tie section. And it was amazing for years, and started to go downhill, deteriorate, sadly, and I would say kind of reached lows about a year ago, which is when I actually started Googling, Friends of Verdi Square, is there a group I can join? And I couldn't find a group, so I decided to start one.
Could you be a little more specific? We all know what garbage and trash is, but some is more dangerous than others. I mean, what was the real, were there things in there that you're like, this is unhealthy as well as unsightly?
Exactly. It was kind of visually not looking so great, but also at the time of the renovation in 2003, in two of the gardens, they planted ground cover, really kind of an invasive ground cover, because they wanted it to grow quickly and take over and be green and look pretty, which it did, sort of, but it was also hiding hundreds of rats. So I want to say that was
It's pretty gross.
That was the biggest problem. Yeah.
Yes. So we're looking at pictures now. Friends of Verdi Square. You couldn't find one, so you made one. Yeah. So tell me about these volunteers. Who are these people?
It's an amazing group. We have about 25 gardeners. And our leader, fearless leader, is a guy named Daniel Atha, who's a botanist with the New York Botanical Garden, and he is sort of our leader of the volunteers. And then it's really, I should say, a fully collaborative project with the New York City Parks Department, and especially Manhattan Commissioner William Castro.
That's nice.
Is really the one who said, we're going to do this. And so we work closely with Robert McLean, who's one of the regional managers, and his crew of 3 or 4 parks gardeners. And we've been working every Saturday since January 19th, rain, snow, or shine.
You're there.
We are there. And so, yeah, every Saturday morning we have been initially pulling up the ground cover, pulling up the weeds, and then planting. And it was Daniel's suggestion that we go with all native plants, all native to the region, which is a very important commitment, kind of environmentally and ecologically. And what's happened is we now have a pollinator garden.
Oh, man. Oh, wow.
So it's very cool.
That's very cool. So let's just say you've got sort of a reopening, a ribbon cutting, and that is?
That's tomorrow morning. Ribbon cutting tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. And Bill Castro will be there presiding, and we actually have some wonderful people coming to speak. Jerry Nadler, Congressman Jerry Nadler. We have Manhattan Borough President Gail Brewer, and Council Member Helen Rosenthal speaking, and Daniel and I will say a couple of words too. We can fit us in there,
I'm sure. Before we let you go, Aleya, because a lot of neighborhoods are faced with things, problems, and just give a few inspiring words when they might feel helpless. They can't do this.
It can be done, and it's really, I think that the Parks Department, they have. Really, the New York City Parks Department has a tiny budget, apparently, compared with other major cities around the country, and they depend on. I think any beautiful park in New York City depends on the residents, the private citizens, the local neighborhood
Yes.
to join forces with them. And it's kind of like Central Park. There's a conservancy there,
Right.
Washington Square Park, Madison
Yes.
Square Park. So it's kind of that model.
But on a smaller scale.
So
it's-
anyone can do it.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you have to. There's a liaison a group called
Mm-hmm.
Partnerships for Parks, and that's actually the group I was put in touch
Oh, that's
with.
a good.
Fantastic group,
information to
a
know. All right.
liaison between any Friends group or Conservancy group and the New York City Parks Department, and they help facilitate
Really
every
nice.
aspect
Good.
of making a difference in your neighborhood.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Enjoy the opening tomorrow, the reopening
Yes.
of Verdi Park.
Thank you.
Have a great time.
Thank you so much.
Very beautiful. We're going to come back right after this.